All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to unpack a landmark business book that reveals a pretty terrifying paradox: how doing all the things that make a company great can actually lead it straight to failure. We're talking about the one and only Clayton Christensen's The Innovator's Dilemma.
So let me start with a question that gets right to the heart of this whole thing. What if doing everything by the book, listening to your best customers, investing in their most profitable products, is actually the quickest path to becoming irrelevant? I know, it sounds completely backward, but that's the exact puzzle we're going to piece together today.
Okay, so let's get into it, starting with what Christensen calls the great company paradox. This is the central mystery. It's about why these amazing, well-managed, industry-leading companies, the ones that seem totally untouchable, can suddenly just vanish from the top. Now, this idea completely flips everything you've probably learned in business school on its head. We're all taught the customer is always right. But Christensen's research, especially when he looked at the disk drive industry, showed something wild. It was that exact behavior, listening to their best customers, that caused these giants to completely miss the boat on the next big wave. And it lets smaller, faster companies just sweep in and take over. So how on earth is that possible? Well, the key to solving this whole paradox is realizing that not all innovation is the same. There are two very different types, and understanding this difference is, well, it's everything. This is the core of the whole theory. And here it is, the star of our show, disruptive innovation. Now, this is not about making a slightly better version of what you already sell. It's about a new technology that at first actually looks kind of bad. It's clunky, it serves a tiny little market nobody cares about, but then it gets better and better until it's good enough to completely knock the old industry leader off its perch. Let's put these two side by side. It makes it super clear. You've got sustaining innovation. Think of it as the iPhone 15 becoming the iPhone 16. It's about making great products even better for your most important customers. But disruptive innovation, that's a whole different ballgame. Think about how early digital cameras were just awful until they weren't. And then poof, the entire film industry was gone. Okay, so if these disruptive technologies are so powerful, why do smart, successful managers miss them over and over again? Well, the answer is kind of ironic. Christensen calls it the trap of good management. I mean, just look at this list. It's practically a how to succeed in business checklist, right? But here's the crazy part. When you're facing a disruptive threat, this checklist becomes a recipe for disaster. Why? Because your best customers tell you they don't want the new clunky thing. The new market is tiny and doesn't make any money. So every single rational process inside a big, successful company is practically designed to kill these ideas on sight. And that, right there, is a dilemma in a nutshell. It's a paradox. The very logic that helped you build an empire becomes the walls of a prison, stopping you from adapting. You follow the playbook for success, and in doing so, you're actually setting yourself up for failure. Okay, I know this all sounds a little bit like doom and gloom, but the theory isn't just a warning sign. It's also a map. So if you're a leader, what are you supposed to do? How do you actually escape this trap? Christensen actually gives us an escape plan. First, you have to quarantine the disruptive idea. Create a totally separate team, maybe even a spin-off company, that doesn't have the same pressure to make huge profits. Second, you have to be okay with placing small bets on tiny markets just to learn. And third, and this is a big one, you have to change your entire mindset. You have to accept that the new thing is going to look like a toy at first. And that's not just okay, it's necessary. Now, you might be thinking, okay, disk drives. That was the 80s and 90s. Why are we still talking about this? Well, let's connect the dots, because this idea is arguably more important right now than it has ever been. Seriously, just look around. We're in an age of AI that's changing everything. Digital startups that can challenge global giants overnight, and competitors coming from places you'd never expect. This threat of disruption isn't some old story from a business book. For pretty much every company out there, it is a daily reality. So to put a bow on this, let's take a balanced look. The strengths of this book are massive. It's based on incredible research, and it gives you a powerful new way to see the world that works in almost any industry. But
It's fair to point out the limitations. Some of the case studies are definitely a bit dated, and the book is fantastic at diagnosing the problem, but it's maybe a little less prescriptive on the step-by-step how to fix it.
And that leaves us with one final and I think really crucial question to walk away with. I want you to think about your own company or even your own career and ask yourself honestly, is the success you're chasing today actually making you blind to the massive opportunities of tomorrow? It's a heavy question, but one worth thinking about.